They have horrendous policy. What they do is they stick together. They never have a no vote. They impeached me. I never knew I was going to be impeached. I get a phone call, you just got impeached. I said, what does that mean? It took them 10 minutes. They impeached the president of the United States, who did a damn good job. I rebuilt our military, Space Force, I got everything. I did a lot. They impeached me for nothing, twice. I mean, they'll find a reason to impeach me. I'll get impeached. We don't impeach them. You know why? Because they're meaner than we are. We should have impeached Joe Biden for 100 different things. They are mean and smart. But fortunately for you, they have horrible policy.
The US Congress could look a lot different this year. Democrats say they have a clear resolution heading into 2026, arguing they are well positioned to take back the House.
The House will be in order.
The U.S. Congress could look a lot different based on what happens in 2026. Democrats say they're ready.
It was always propaganda that somehow we were on the run, knocked out on the canvas and unable to recover.
And Democrats point to big wins in Virginia and New Jersey gubernatorial elections in 2025, arguing they are well positioned to take back the House.
Let's go to North Carolina. We want to go to North Carolina.
President Trump is already making rounds of swing states, framing arguments for November as Republicans hope to buck the trend that the party in power usually loses seats in midterms.
Your drugs are coming down at levels that nobody ever thought was possible. This achievement alone should win us the midterms.
And then there is the White House itself. 2028 may seem like a long way off, but the jockeying has begun.
We are going to get my husband's friend, J.D. Vance, elected for 48.
Vice President J.D. Vance scored an early endorsement from Turning Point's Erica Kirk. And while he leads the 2028 field in this poll ahead of California Governor Gavin Newsom, 67% of respondents say they don't have anyone in mind yet. That's an open field. And more, we're seeing some elected officials just want out. More than 50 retirements are coming up for Congress.
A lot of these folks come from productive lives, business backgrounds, veterans, and they come to Washington and are really shocked when they can't get anything done. And that gets frustrating after a while. And they say, maybe I can do more for my community, my country, back home, out of public life.
And that may be the real wild card for 2026. Take away the power of incumbency, and some of these races could get much more competitive.
So it's a huge drop for us. Now, depending on the way you calculate it, it could be thousands of percent down. It could also be 90% and 80%. You know, there's two ways of calculating. I don't know if you know. They said Donald Trump exaggerated. Now, there are two ways of calculating it. But calculate it at 80, 90%. But the other way is more accurate, like 900%, because that's what it really is. But there are two ways, but use to be generous, 90%. There hasn't been a reduction in 28 years, except for the 1 year where I got it down 1/4%, and I had a news conference. I was so proud of myself. The drug prices, prescription drugs, are going to be down by thousands of points. Thousands. On that one item, you should win this election. The New York Times barely wrote about it. The other papers barely wrote about it. Nobody even knows that the drug prices. Now, people will say, you don't mind if I don't read this crazy teleprompter, do you? Because, do you mind? Because I have, it's called standard. But these things are so important because you guys got to get elected. Because if you don't get elected, we have a country that's going to go to hell. So we can't play games. Ladies and gentlemen, the sun will rise tomorrow, and when it rises, we don't need this bullshit. We need to talk about favored nations. And your numbers are coming down at levels that nobody's ever seen. We inherited high prices. We inherited a mess. We inherited the greatest inflation in history. And you know what was knocking it down? The bad economy that we inherited. We inherited bad. We now have the hottest economy in the history of our country. We have $18 trillion being invested in the United States. You have, every one of you have car plants, AI plants, plants of all different types. Because of tariffs. I hope we get the good ruling from the Supreme Court. I only hope we do, because it's given us tremendous national security. So let me just finish up, because I weave. I love to weave. If you ever weave and don't come back to the point, then that's a problem. Then you say, but when you weave and you go here and boom, 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 always coming back, then you're in good shape. But what's happening is, by doing what I did, we're getting numbers that are so low. But what did I do to the countries? I said, France, your health care for prescription drugs is going to go up triple. It's going from $10 a pill, just as an example. I called it the fat drug. You could say the fat drug, Ozempic. Ozempic is $80 in London, and it's $1,300 in New York.